Hello, I'm Christine Franklyn, and I so enjoy my work as a health coach, helping people to feel more vibrant and energetic.
And my name is Silvana Siskov. I am a health coach, a nutritionist, counselor, and I wrote numbers of books focused on health, weight loss, and well-being. And today we are going to talk about stress. And I actually wrote a book. It's called Relaxation and Stress Management Made Simple. And we are going to talk about stress today because stress is one of the number one killers in today's society. And and I have many clients who come to me because of uh, uh, different health issues. And I noticed that stress is very much present in their lives. And I mentioned 7 techniques in this book, which would be good idea to talk about in this call today. Um, so tell me, Christine, in your work with clients, how how often do people express stress, and how do you how do you talk to them? How do you help them?
Well, interestingly enough, I've found that many people don't even realize when they're stressed because they normalize
Yeah,
it. So it has become such a part of their daily life. They just figure, oh, I just need to get on with what I need to do. And I just need to suck it up and deal with it. And although they're definitely stressed, if you ask them if they're stressed, sometimes they'll say
yeah,
no. And in
yeah,
conversations with them, you can see it coming out. You can hear about it when they talk about situations at work or at home. And it's more than just one off occasions. There's some, constant things that happen in their lives, and it becomes chronic stress, which is the one that we
yeah.
definitely need to avoid.
Yes,
So
yeah,
I have really worked with clients to just take things as they reveal them. Because sometimes if you ask them about it, they won't be able to even,
yeah,
articulate what they're feeling. So
yeah,
as we talk about, I use a circle of life tool. So as we talk about all the things on that circle of life, relationships, career, finances, we see places where stress is popping up. And as I said, they don't recognize it. So talking through each one of those components really, really helps because as we deal with it, then I can help them pinpoint their stress triggers and reflect on how they feel in their body, what their body is signaling to them in the moments when they feel really stressed or tense, and then some strategies to deal with it.
yeah. And it's interesting that you mentioned that people often don't even realize they are stressed. They see it as a normal part of their lives, um, which just tells me that we are so stressed we don't even recognize we are stressed.
It's so true.
Yeah, yes. And also, like, if we think of like what was happening, I don't know, thousands, millions, whatever years ago, um people were scared of lions, for instance. Everybody always talks about lions, don't know why, but people were scared of the lions. But these days we are scared of so many things. Um, we have a bills to pay. We have a deadlines to meet. We are worried about our families and friends. We have different illnesses to cope with. Uh, we are hearing bad news on the TV all the time. We try to process it in some kind of way. Uh, then we tend to eat these days. We tend to eat extremely unhealthy, which again it causes a stress to our body. So there's just a stress everywhere, and if we go through that every single day, I mean, our body remembers it, and it really starts affecting us physically, mentally, emotionally, and it's like a vicious circle.
Yes, it really is. Everything creates the perfect storm, Sometimes one thing
Yeah,
feeds into another as well. So
yeah,
when we're stressed, then
yeah,
we tend to reach
yeah,
for junk food, and then that junk food doesn't help
yeah,
us, and
yeah.
on the cycle goes. So what you said is so, so true.
Yeah.
And
And I often work with clients with emotional eating, and so often I notice they tend to eat food. Often it's junk food when they feel stressed, because they feel it helps them with emotions, but actually. Food is in that situation is the wrong tool to use, and it's just causing even more problems, because then they start overeating, they start binging, they turn to wrong food, they start putting a weight on, and which then start affecting their energy level, start affecting their health. One thing leads to the other, but is definitely not helping them at all. So it's really, really important that people recognize their stressors, what's making them stress, and then that's the only way they can actually start dealing with the stress. Because if we don't know what's making us stress, we can't even start dealing with it. We don't know where to start from.
yes, and I've experienced stress mainly from work, I can tell you.
Yeah.
When I was working a 9 to 5 job, when I was a manager, and
Hmm.
I didn't even realize I was stressed at first. So I totally understand people who are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I live in Barbados. It's beautiful, it's sunny, and I hardly ever saw the sun. I'd leave home in the morning early,
Hmm.
and I'd come back home when it was dark. And
Yeah.
I hardly had a personal life. So all the going to the beach and everything that people might imagine I was doing, I definitely was not doing. I was at events, and I was always indoors doing something in a meeting or something. And apart from being busy, it was stressful to have
Yeah.
this constant go, go, go kind of routine. And I felt like my brain could never switch off. Literally, from the time I opened my eyes, I felt like I was going zoom, zoom, zoom down my to do list.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
take a shower, and I couldn't even remember if I washed my toes. I was like, did I do that? Because I was thinking about something else while I was showering. And I was
Yeah.
so consumed with everything that I thought I had to do. And then it started to affect my health. So I definitely know that it's serious. It's not something that we can just say, oh, it's this little thing. I just feel a little stressed today and maybe tomorrow, but no big deal.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really serious. I could feel it in my body. I could feel the changes that were happening. I decided, no, I just need to make a change. I definitely can't keep going like this, because I will be no use to myself. And this is no way to live. I mean, not even seeing the sun, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to what people experience when they're in it and sometimes can't see it.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. And when you are in it, you're right. When you are in it, you can't say it.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is interesting. And last week we talked about expressing gratitude, and that's one of the techniques that can help with coping with stress. We talked last week about how positively it can impact us. Just doing a journal, and be thankful for what we have, been positive about what we have, because that can kind of reframe negative thoughts in a way, just to focusing more on positive things in life. And also lots of my clients benefit from doing yoga, meditation, and those kind of things. How about you? I mean, Christine, what do you normally do in your life that helps you with stress?
Gratitude is a huge part of it. That's definitely where I start. That's definitely something I always come back to. I also use breathing techniques. So I recommend
Mhm.
this to
Yes,
clients, even if it's just one deep breath. It doesn't have to be
yes,
fancy. You don't have to have,
yes,
complete breath work covered. You don't have to necessarily be practicing yoga, which I do recommend. But,
yes,
sometimes people feel like starting something new is just another hurdle. So at the very least, just taking a moment to take one deep inhale, one deep exhale, and just take a moment to breathe. to step outside of it. It literally takes you outside of the stress that you're feeling and being all wrapped up in it. And it just brings the body down to a much more relaxed state. And I find that that works so well. You can do that at any time, in any place. It's, for me, an absolute must to have, ready there in your mind that you're going to do in that moment when you feel stress starting to come on.
Yeah, and also practicing self-care is another one, another technique kind of that I talk to my clients about. But self-care, that includes so many things. It includes healthy eating, doing regular exercise, going to bed earlier. I don't mean early, but kind of, really try to have a good night's sleep, and maybe do some evening routine to help you with a good night's sleep. Because when we eat unhealthy, when we don't move our body during the day much, it can really affect us, and it's going to cause more stress to the body. But also what I notice, it especially happens with clients who come to me and they want to lose weight, and they say, I can't lose weight, and I'm exercising every day, I'm doing this, cardio every single day, run for 1 hour, then go to the gym, and go to the gym twice a day or something like that. But actually, doing too much exercise can also cause a stress to the body. And when your body is under stress, then you might not lose weight that easily, even though you keep exercising every day and eat healthy. But as I said, too much exercise can cause stress to the body,
Completely
which is
true.
just another type of stress. So it's not maybe an emotional type of stress, but it is a physical kind of stress.
Yes, I actually told that to a client not long ago, and he was so surprised because he never thought
Yeah,
about it that way. He thought, well,
yeah,
exercise is good for you.
yeah,
I'll exercise and I'll feel good. But
yeah,
he had these targets for himself, and he would obsess about these targets. And,
yeah, yeah,
that in
yeah,
itself is not healthy. Obsessing about
yeah,
anything is not healthy. Obsessing about food or exercise, none of that is healthy.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, so what you said is so important. A lot of people don't realize that too much exercise can definitely stress the body. And there's studies that have shown that people have lost weight, people who used to be runners and then for whatever reason couldn't run, like you were mentioning in an earlier talk that we had, they started walking and doing simpler exercises and they lost weight and they were
Yes,
shocked.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it
yes.
happens. You stop stressing the body and the body relaxes into where it needs to be, including your ideal weight.
Yes, yeah, and also with food. I mean, food and good nutrition is just so important for our bodies. And when we eat kind of typical Western type of diet, it's causing inflammation in our body, which is just another type of stress to the body, and it's not doing us any favors.
Yes, for sure. So we really need to keep track of what's going on in total with what we're doing daily. So our food or exercise, and then what we're doing mentally and emotionally
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
ourselves feel good. You know, for some busy people, I find that it's difficult for them to even incorporate self care. They don't even think about it. They're like, self
mm,
care? I don't have
yeah,
time for
yeah,
that, you know?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
you need
yeah,
to
yeah.
make time for it because it's so crucial. That's what will stop you from reaching for the junk food and doing all the other things that are unhealthy because you know that you're doing something to take care of yourself and that's what you're busy doing. So you're not even thinking about what you need to reach for to give you comfort because you know you have this wonderful time coming up when you'll be taking care of yourself, later
Yeah.
in the evening. And it's going to be you doing something that you enjoy and you're doing it for yourself. And that can be such a brilliant way to just decompress from everything that has happened in the day, everything that may have been playing on your mind. Just have that time for you to take care of you. That's absolutely crucial.
And there are things in life that we can't control, and there are things in life that make us feel stressed out. But it's really important to look at how we react to those things.
Yes.
That's crucially important when it comes to stress, because just by changing our way of thinking, changing our thought process, changing the way we react to things, can make a huge difference.
Yes, that is so true. Because, we always say it's the circumstances that you can't change, but you can change how you respond to them.
Yeah,
That is always in
yeah,
your control.
yes, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yep,
that's
how you
so
respond,
true.
yeah, how you
Yes,
respond can make
yeah,
everything feel worse than it really needs to be. You can end up freaking out over something that could have been easily solved if you'd calmly taken a step back and just looked at it from a different point of view and, try to figure out bit by bit what can happen that can be different. What can you do that can be different rather than just reacting in the moment that is happening?
yeah. So I mean, there are many ways how people can try to reduce the stress in their lives. So we mentioned quite a few. We mentioned doing yoga, doing meditation, eating healthier, um, doing exercise. Obviously, not too much of it, but something that's more relaxing. Reframing negative thoughts. We talked about, we talked last week about expressing gratitude, and yeah, that's very, very powerful. Is there anything else you can think of that can help listeners to kind of make them feel more relaxed and reduce stress in their life?
Well, people used to say when you're feeling like you're getting angry, count to 10. And as silly as we might think that
Yeah.
is, literally just doing that alone can help
Yes.
because it
Yes.
stops you from getting so caught up in
Yes.
it and
Yes.
again reacting and
Yeah.
feeling overwhelmed. So even if you don't feel confident in doing breath work or you don't have time to do a yoga class, sometimes even that can slow you
Yes.
down. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need to slow down. And within that, you'll probably take a breath. And as long as you start there, your body will start to calm down.
Yes, yeah, that's true. And as I mentioned earlier, kind of recognizing the stressors, that's one of the most important things. Recognizing what makes you feel stressed, so you can maybe avoid that situation or change it in some kind of way, or do some changes about it. So if uh, going to work in the morning, rushing to work every morning makes you feel stressed, maybe you can do some changes about it. Maybe you can do some planning night before and prepare clothes in the evening for the following day, and do some changes. So it's really, really important to look at what it is that make us feel stressed. What are our stressors? Because only then we can tackle them.
It's so true. I used to feel stressed out having to rush to work in the morning when I
Yeah,
was working a nine to
yeah,
five job, so I can
yeah,
relate. But
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it's so true. I think it's important to think of ourselves like strategists. So
yeah,
instead of just rushing in and being the person who just goes, oh my gosh, you're the strategist. So you take a look at what's really happening, what's making you feel stressed, and then you think strategy. Okay, so what
yeah,
can I do about this?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that approach is just so much more helpful.
Yeah, I think that we need to look at our kind of private life, everyday life, in a similar way we look at business life. Because with business, we make plans, we make goals. But with our personal life, we just ignore plans, we ignore goals. We just think, oh, well, things are going to happen somehow.
That is so
Um,
true.
you know?
Yes. And I tell clients I believe in having a plan A and a plan B and a plan C.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
That's the way that you can still eat healthy when you're on the road. That's the way you
yeah,
can still get movement in, even if you're
yeah.
injured. There's always something else you can do. Definitely.
Yeah, because with business, we plan things, we have strategies, and we think if this doesn't work, we might try to do this, or how can we prepare ourselves, I don't know, for something that we are planning to do. But with everyday life, we don't do anything like that. It kind of like clients come to me and say, I want to lose weight. What have you tried so far? Tried A, B, C, D, nothing worked. But what kind of plans did you make about? Nothing. I just decided I'm going to follow that particular diet and it didn't work. And usually what happens that people want to lose when it comes to weight loss, they want to lose 5 stone in 1 week, without making any plans, without thinking even about it, how they're gonna do it. And yeah, it's important to actually look at our personal life more from kind of business point of view. So when it comes to stress, if we plan things in advance, it's going to help our stress level. So
Yes.
if we recognize that something is make us feel stressed, then we need to plan things around it so
Yes.
that we can feel less stressed about it. So as I mentioned earlier, if rushing to work in the morning makes you feel stressed, then maybe you can do all the preparation night before, and have a night evening routine and morning routine. Because when you follow certain routine, then it's a routine. You don't think about it, you just do it. And when you are in that kind of mood, when you just do things, then you're not under stress because you just do it. It's a routine that you follow.
Yes, I actually was thinking about the morning routine when you were talking about rushing to work,
Yeah,
because it's about preparing for anything that can come at you during the day. Again, we don't have control over what might come
yeah,
at you. But if you start your day feeling centered rather than feeling rushed,
yeah,
you've set yourself up in a totally different frame of mind. Your capacity to be able to take a step back is so much more increased if you start your day feeling centered. So
yeah,
my morning routine is a non-negotiable for me. I have to take time in the
yeah.
morning to just center myself, meditate, have time just for me before I deal with anybody else and anything else.
Yeah, it's true, because I often feel the way you start your day, you're going to carry on with that
Yes.
day. So if your day starts on the wrong foot, then it's very difficult after that to kind of feel energized and feel happy and feel you can do anything. But if you wake up in the morning refreshed, have a healthy breakfast, maybe you do a bit of exercise, and follow certain kind of routine that you always do, then it's more likely that you're going to feel less stressed.
Yes.
Definitely,
Yes. So true.
definitely, definitely. So yeah, so what are we going to talk about next week?
So, next week, we're going to talk about how to live longer. I'm
Oh,
sure this is something that so many people would love to hear about, because who doesn't want to live longer, and not just live longer, but live longer and be active and healthy?
oh, great. Okay, see you next week.
See you then.